Here we go!
Yo! Welcome to the Super Fantasy Bros Super Podcast, or whatever the fuck we call it.
I forget.
I forget. I just edited 2 episodes, so I shouldn't forget. Pat's here.
Heyo.
Pat pulled up in a sick ride. Cut to that. And we're back. All right. So
Hey, now he's an all-star.
and of course, Tim's here as per usual. It's playoff time, so I stepped up my production game. So, you got some nice lighting to look at for once. Tried to make it less, overhead fluorescent and more like Murica, I guess. I don't know. Or like Mario colors. I don't know what I was going
Beto
for.
2020.
Beto 2020. Perfect. So on that note, we are ready to jump into it. And, playoffs are here. We're about a week in right now.
You have 2 of your playoff representatives here on the panel.
That is true. And you have someone who is guaranteed to not get the Sacco this year because I won out after I changed my team name on the last podcast.
Run by you.
Yeah.
In every league I've been in, there's been that team that
Yeah.
just had a shit start to the year and just kind of pull things together. Yasha in my other league was 0-4. Now he jumped all the way up to the 4 seed.
Wow. Yeah, I always feel like 0-4 is a death sentence, so good on him. Like,
Yeah.
I pretty much feel like 0-4 is there's no coming back from that pretty much.
If
but
Pat had lost the 2
that's
games I had
impressive.
asked him to lose, I would have made it.
Speaking of,
I did my part.
I did sneak in our league to the number 3 seed, but
Yeah.
if you look back at my schedule, I won a game against you by 0.2.
Yep.
I won another game by a couple points.
You won a game against me on a 20-yard Aaron Rodgers run.
I won that game.
That was brutal.
I lost a game by a couple points too, though. So
Yeah.
it does go both ways. But I mean,
Totally.
I will.
We
My very
called
favorite story.
your demise, but it didn't play out in the way of you losing a spot.
It's because you're an asshole.
Dude, we were so right about Carlos Hyde busting. Holy shit, we didn't realize the trade
He didn't
was gonna
bust
happen.
though. That's not a bust.
I mean, it is a bust.
It's a total bust.
He didn't get you the points you wanted, so that's a bust in fantasy, right? It's not
suppose.
about what he does, or why he busts. It's just
We get to
Did you get your value?
We kind of get to berate you on this episode because you're 7th in points, and yet you're in the playoffs. So.
Yeah, because
hey,
I know.
fuck it. That's
Hey,
luck is luck, man.
Look,
Take it.
I take things one game at a time, man. I'm not looking forward to the next schedule. Me and my team have the game right ahead of us.
You're
and that's what we're
coached up
focusing
well.
on. Yeah,
He's very
absolutely.
coached up. Man, you should do post game press conferences.
Maybe he should be
Do a better job than a lot
Maybe
of
he
these
should
guys.
be Kareem Hunt's PR rep, and that is a nice little segue.
Into
Real
our
quick.
first segment.
Before we get to Kareem Hunt and and all that that entails, I do want to tell a quick story.
Okay.
My best ever playoff entry. I actually think it might have been in this league.
Okay.
It might have been last year.
Okay. You were in
I
last year.
barely made the playoffs last year.
Okay.
I won
Were
by.
you playing Teef at the last week? Because I think Teef had to win the last game, and then
I
you
think
beat
so.
him.
I beat him. But what happened is I made it by 1 game.
Mm-hmm.
Week 2, I played Jordan.
Yeah.
He beat me. Stat corrections came out.
Yeah.
I won by 0.5 point.
Oh yeah, that was last year. That was brutal. It was like a 0.5 point stat correction that came in.
It was
And
a 1.5 stat correction.
Yeah.
I was down 1 point, ended up winning the game by
it was
0.5 point.
brutal.
Put me in the playoffs.
No.
You hear that?
That wasn't last year.
That was
last
last year.
year.
I remember this
Jordan,
very well.
Against Jordan week 2.
I remember it.
I'm
it was
looking
last
at
year.
it.
You know what it was?
I'm looking at it.
It was either last year or the year before.
It
Yeah.
was the year
I remember
before.
exactly
Okay.
what happened.
But I remember that very
It was
well.
a Jeremy Macklin tackle. It was the year we did IDPs.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a Jeremy Macklin tackle that didn't get
I'm
recorded.
sorry
off an
about
interception.
that. We should never have done IDPs.
Well, I mean, I looked up, to my credit, I looked up Jeremy Macklin's tackling ability when he was in middle school and when he, and he wrapped it up pretty well.
Yeah, there you go.
That's why I drafted him.
Oh yeah, and then you got
That's
points
crazy.
on Jeremy Macklin for the tackle, even though he. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm glad we
So
don't do
young and
IDP
stupid
anymore.
and naive. Then.
Where did that guy go?
Macklin?
Any idea?
He's
yeah,
dead
he's
now.
just fallen off the planet. Yeah.
He's
I
in
kind of
the
wrote him
basement.
off after, because we were Facebook friends when he was in college, when he was going to Missouri.
Oh yeah.
And then once he got to the league, he unfriended me. And
Oh yeah,
That was it.
You got to cut loose those ties that you just you can tell they're not going
Yeah,
anywhere.
relationships are 50-50, right? I mean, like, I was putting in more than he was, and so
It's kind of like Brandon Crawford. You're like, come on, where's the love?
Yeah, fuck that guy, dude. What, he got 5 kids or something?
Just kidding. We're
So
still
many
Facebook friends. What's up, Brandon?
No, you're watching.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of kids, Philip Rivers expecting another kid.
Oh yeah, number
Are you
9.
kidding?
Number 9, yeah. They announced it the other day on the game.
I looked up his
After
wife
all
the
your
other
shit
day.
talking of Philip Rivers.
She doesn't look like she had 9 kids.
Really? Not surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did well for himself. Speaking of
She did not do well for
immaturity,
herself.
Kareem Hunt acting like a child.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we wanted to get into a little bit of like the attrition of running backs and players in general that's just suddenly finally happened. It's been a pretty good year so far as far as injuries.
It's kind
and
of an
suspensions.
outstanding year for that.
Yeah,
right?
but
because
it
like
really-
usually you have like
I would like to see the real statistics on that, just percentage of players injured.
I feel like
'Cause they
last
put in
year was
rules
so
every-
much worse.
Well, they put in rules every year to lessen it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's obviously translated to more scoring, but I
Yeah.
wonder what's really happened for the players, if it's helped
Yeah.
safety at all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But be that as it may, like I feel like a lot of people are going to miss what ends up happening in these final few weeks because a lot of people are going to have to step up and play big roles. The people who are in the playoffs are going to have to pick up players and start random rookies that could lead them to a title or could totally like crap out their team. So it's going to be really interesting. But let's jump it off with K Hunt, a guy everybody likes from a player standpoint and his ability and. You know, like rooting for the guy.
I had totally missed the initial news cycle when this came out. I knew
Me
there
too.
were articles about it. I had no clue it even happened.
Yeah,
The
somehow
NFL or the Chiefs
I think it's just,
did a good job of hushing it up.
or it's just that there's just so much of it happening these days.
Well, especially even in the NFL alone.
Exactly,
The
that's
facts
what I'm saying. So,
themselves
like-
are even confusing around it. You know, like
But the video was not confusing.
no. But in his interview on ESPN that I watched today, he was saying that this happened at a residence of his where he had just moved to the area.
It happened at a hotel. He owned an apartment in a hotel.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's a
But
weird thing to do.
That was like I don't know. It's just like one thing after the other. Like clearly the league wasn't on top of this, and
Or
like,
they might have been. That's the
Um,
thing. Was it a cover-up?
I don't believe it was.
I could see that though. They've done it before.
Yeah, they did with Ray Rice.
They did it with Ray Rice.
Yes.
They knew what that video was,
Right, but
and then it was like their worst nightmare when it
I
came
think it's
out.
more likely that they don't have the ability to pay people off in order to get these videos because they are a reputable organization.
And the police-
whereas TMZ just kind of under the table.
In the police report, it said surveillance video upon request.
Interesting. Well, that's not what the league or the Chiefs, because the Chiefs did the same exact measures that the NFL did. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that there's no way. You know, I would say there's very much a non-zero chance that they knew about this. But it's, I mean, the point going forward is the power of video evidence because like Reuben Foster's getting another chance. Tyreek Hill on the same
Reuben Foster's
team
not gonna get another chance,
very
man.
likely did something way worse than what Kareem Hunt did.
Greg Hardy threw a cachet of AK-47s basically on his wife.
Yeah, and still able to play in the league. It's just the power
He's
of...
not in the league anymore.
He played after that.
But
He
that's
played
the
after
point.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that I thought that Tyreek Hill still being on the team, whereas like his allegations were much worse. Who knows what Zeke really did?
I mean, go down the line.
You know, like exactly.
There's more examples. Big Ben, Jameis Winston,
Oh,
you know,
Big Ben.
LeGarrette Blunt.
I
like,
hate Big Ben.
So that's the scary part is that
Did you hear
know
that quote
we
from
saw
him?
this happen and like this is the power of what video evidence can get you. It's like immediate remorse and immediate consequence, and it's like there's so many more stories where this doesn't happen because there's not video evidence, and so
innocent until videoed guilty.
I
you
feel
know?
like that's like the wrong stance too by the NFL, right? And like I mean, like how tone deaf is it that they're not like? I mean,
Is it though? It depends. You know, like it's the wrong stance, surely.
Yeah.
But in terms of moral standards, you know, the values that we withhold as a country or whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
But is it the wrong stance because they're making a shit ton of money?
I mean, I think that's.
Like who's the joke on now? Right? Is it on us?
I think a little bit.
Who are here doing a podcast
I think we all
about
have
fantasy football?
Yeah, we all clearly have an addiction to the sport.
Yeah.
Right?
well, I have
But,
an
like-
addiction to football strictly because of fantasy. Like,
Yeah, no,
if it wasn't that other people cared about a game that we play together, I wouldn't care as much about the NFL.
Yeah, it's the
because
social
there is a
aspect,
lot
right?
of BS going on.
No,
in the
totally.
league.
Like I definitely like don't watch as much as I used to, even playing fantasy. And I feel like part of that is like I have trouble rooting for a lot of people. Like watching a Steelers game is tough on me. Like I don't like Ben Roethlisberger. And then he had that quote the other day because he had that nice pass that like got into like this like really tight spot. And he goes, whenever I see a hole I can jam something into, I do it. And I'm like, man, like where is your PR person? Like who's talking to you and not telling you like you're viewed by most people as a piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a dirtbag. What Cam said last year to the female reporter, I think it's funny. You listen to you talking about routes. Just like, what the hell?
The
is this
NFL
misogyny?
really needs better PR people.
I just try to not pay attention to noise. I just try to stay between the lines, and that's how I can consume the sport. I can't sit through a 3-hour game these days.
No, I can't either
Yeah,
anymore.
but
And it begs the question too: is it our responsibility as viewers, to make that decision? I mean, I guess we pay with our dollars. In the end of the day, that's what matters. And
right. But it is turning into a scapegoat league because I really feel like Colin Kaepernick's a great example. Just I feel like his stance is just strengthening every time the Redskins go and sign Mark Sanchez instead of giving Cap a shot.
Is that who they ended up signing today?
No, they started Sanchez, and they're about to they said they're going to sign
Colt
Josh
McCoy's out.
Johnson today.
Yeah.
Who's
wow.
he's been a trash quarterback. He's never made it in the league.
He's in his 40s, isn't he?
No, if you know
I know
Josh
he is.
Johnson, yeah.
Yeah, he
But
played.
He was at University of San Diego under Jim Harbaugh when Jim
Oh, wow.
Harbaugh first coached there.
It's a long-ass
he's
time
just a
ago.
total washout, and like Cap still put up good statistics at the end of his career, and it's like anyway. So that's
No, I agree.
And
Cap should win that lawsuit.
my further point to Kareem Hunt is they're continuing to investigate other incidents now. It's like, oh, now we're going to look into these other incidents with Kareem Hunt because they're just like, okay, now we have a target. We're going to be showing everyone we're doing due diligence because everyone's paying attention to it. Right
At
now.
least no one picked him up off waivers. That would have been like the end of my faith. Like
Yeah.
at that point,
The Reuben Foster.
The Reuben
was pretty
Foster
dirty.
one bummed me.
I thought the
fuck
Redskins
out.
are ready to go with the Kareem Hunt signing.
They might as well. They've already like doubled down. Like
Yeah,
just,
they got
just
AP.
go for
They-
it.
Yeah.
And AP this year said he still beats his kid.
Yeah,
Did he really?
he insinuated as much, yeah.
No, he said it. So he still hits him. He said like verbatim, he still hits him.
That one
It was
wasn't-
not, yeah, yes. He, like, not I still hit my son, but like.
That one was a
But-
tough one for me. Like,
But he
I
basically
remember
said
during that one,
he uses his physicality to discipline his child.
I remember
Yeah.
that one for me was like hard. Like, obviously, like he took it across the line, but like,
He definitely did.
but that's also how he was raised, right?
Sure.
It's like there's so many nuances. And
Well,
layers
I
to
always
all
see
stuff.
this-
It's
this-
like-
It was still child abuse what he did, though.
yeah,
absolutely, he
Yeah.
took it across the line.
Yeah.
What I see on the internet too is like it reminds me of like the backwardsness of like people's thinking on this kind of stuff sometimes. Like after AP said he still hits his son, like most of like the comments were like, and now kid suffers from respect for others, and it's like, dude, that's not. I respect others, and no one's ever hit me. I'm very respectful of people. You can teach your kid with words, like be a fucking like. It's a lazy way to raise your kid, right?
And is it really working if he's still hitting him?
Yeah,
Right.
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Like-
exactly. It's like what that whole thing. Like the definition of insanity is repeating the same process and expecting
Over
different
and over,
results, right?
I listen to a lot of NBA podcasts, and one
Yeah.
of the reoccurring themes is how mature the league is now,
And I think that's
and
the
how much
league's
they've learned
responsibility.
from the generation before them.
Yeah.
The Latrell Sprewell generation,
That's
the
true.
Starbury generation.
Oh yeah,
I mean, just look at. It's mostly because of LeBron. Like, look at that leader, right?
LeBron.
Like, he's as much as you hate him on the court, and
No,
and
I like
know
him as a
do,
person, though.
But as a person, he's been buttoned up, right?
His school
Just
and all
everything
that
is
stuff
perfect.
he does is great. And Curry
And a lot of
like
guys
the
have followed
Nets,
suit.
Like
It's like, when's the last time you heard a big scandal in the NBA?
it's been a while.
Or even guys blowing money, Antoine Walker style.
Yeah.
It's like you really don't hear those anymore because they've done things. They give rookies counseling. They, they make sure they have veteran
If you're going to
co-op
invest in these
leadership.
kids, right, you might as well like.
They're your star power. They're your money. And that's
Yeah.
the difference. Football players, we don't see their face.
No, you're
And
right.
there's a lot
That
more.
is so
to-
true.
Keep that in mind. There's literally like 5 times more
That's true.
NFL, 5 to 10 times more NFL players than NBA.
And
Well, yeah, they're more expendable to them. They treat them like garbage, right?
right, and their careers are much shorter.
You ask a 7-year-old kid to name 5 football players, how many can he name? Tom Brady,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers, Odell Beckham. That's it.
That's really he's not wrong. Maybe J.J. Watt,
Yeah, J.J. Watt.
and it's like they
Drew Brees.
pick Drew Brees maybe.
I hope so.
You mean that guy with the poop on his face?
Yeah, I mean it's a hard subject. There's no there's no winning in that subject, but I think what the NBA is doing is the right way to do it. Like, because, like, look, if you're going to invest in a bunch of fucking 19-year-olds who are going to fuck up, right? Like, and it's going to make you look better, and it costs you money every time they fuck up. Like, it doesn't just cost you money in, like, their contract, but advertising dollars, viewership. Like, I mean, it doesn't, like, you know, dip it too hard, but it dips it temporarily, usually. Why not counsel them? Like, why not do all that work, you know? And if someone fucks up, if they're that expendable, they should just be out. Like, Spencer Ware's waiting in the wings. Spencer Ware was like a number one fantasy running back, like, a year before Kareem Hunt came in. Then he lost it to injury, right? Like, you don't need Kareem Hunt. Like, he doesn't make the league that much better. Like, Spencer Ware...
Look at the Chargers. Their
much wasn't-
third-string running back just basically replicated Melvin Gordon's numbers last week.
Yeah. It's all scheme. That's the thing about the sport, is scheme wins above all else. I was watching this video the other day where someone was, like, calling Tom Brady throws. And it was like... Tom Brady would throw a pass. He's like, oh, that was such a great pass. Did you see how he threw it to that wide open receiver 5 yards ahead?
Tom Brady throws this ball at least 3 yards past the line of scrimmage. That is an incredibly tough pass to make. I don't know how he does it. He's just incredible. He's 41. I don't know if I've mentioned that before. People don't understand how tough it is to throw this pass behind the line of scrimmage. But Tom Brady does it because he's just so special and incredible. Watch this play. I guarantee you, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Peyton Manning, they couldn't make this throw. Tom Brady makes this throw. You know why? Because he's special. What a dime. Holy shit.
He's like, ooh, yeah.
Really funny.
Look at that tight hole he threw it in where there's no one around.
This
It's
looks
like,
simple, but let me tell you, only Tom Brady can do that.
Yeah.
This might be the greatest throw of all time. Just look at how Brady encouraged Edelman to get that first down. Incredible. He keeps getting better. Look at how much duress Tom Brady is under on this play. I mean, he has guys on his face. His offensive line stinks. He throws a bullet to Josh Gordon, who had to go up through two defenders to get it. Not a lucky play whatsoever.
I think you do bring up a good point though, that the replaceability of NFL players is
Especially running
made
backs.
it that
especially running backs.
the administrators of the league, the owners, are just kind of like just churning. Everything is like a churning process in the NFL. More dollars, more play, just cycling through players and just like
Keep our sponsors happy.
exactly, yeah. And
I mean, if you were Roger Goodell and you were making $40 million a year, would you really give a shit?
No,
Like-
probably not.
I know, right?
It's crazy.
Which is unfortunate.
Speaking of Tom Brady, though, just broke 1,000 career rushing yards.
It's dumbest stat ever.
Congratulations, Tom Brady. Did you see the NFL Films trailer that came out for it? It's called Run, Tommy, Run.
That's pretty good.
And it's all these fake interviews, like Rondé Barber being like,
They should do like an hour long A Football Life. Tom Brady rushes for that.
dude, it was so funny. They did all his best highlights. There was one where he juked the shit out of some good Brian Urlacher. He juked Brian Urlacher, and he's so amped up. It was like a 5.5 yard run. It's pretty good stuff.
That's a good segment.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of got off the rails a little bit there, but I think it was a good conversation.
Sure. Yeah.
Truly
we did.
interesting. Yeah.
I mean, it's a social problem, and I don't know the answers, and I don't think any of us pretend to.
But
Clean it up, people. Start treating one another with respect.
It's not that hard.
So real quick, let's talk about Kareem Hunt and his actual, straightforward
fantasy. Okay.
straightforward fantasy impact of the Kareem Hunt just not playing football.
Yeah.
For the rest of the year at least, and kind of parlaying that into,
think it
the
helped
other
him.
injuries and the big exodus of running backs that go out
I think that helped Tim a lot, right?
in our league.
Yeah, because he got Spencer Ware.
But
Sure.
he didn't really look that good. We
No,
were
he
at the
didn't.
game.
But that's only 1 week.
It was a 1 week against the Raiders.
Yeah. But
As an owner, you feel like it's just like a situation rather than a talent thing. But that's all you
Spencer
need
Ware
in
has proven
fantasy
to have the
football
talent
as a
before.
running back.
And he's in
But
football.
that's not necessarily true. I don't
To be the running back of the Chiefs?
Yes, I mean
He opens up that field, Patrick Mahomes does. I feel like you don't have to have that much talent to be a good running back on the Chiefs.
But does it really translate into points? Is my question. What if Andy Reid just says, "All right, we're going to throw it 85% of the time now"? There's going to be. I don't know. I mean, we were at the Raider game. The
Right.
Raiders aren't exactly the fucking 85 Bears.
But they made it a game that it was a similar game script to pretty much what they're going to see most weeks. And he got I was going to say about 14 carries. I was going to say 15 carries.
He did
It's
score a
exactly
touch.
what I expect. and I don't know how many targets he got. He caught one ball. The yards weren't great, obviously, but like.
And is he working on third down, or is they signed West?
They did. They signed
Sarkandrick
West. If they would have signed C.J. Anderson, a little bit of the shine would have come off of Spencer.
Sure.
The fact that they signed West doesn't really scare me because Ware and West were in the backfield 2 years ago together, and Ware was a force. So, I don't believe that Ware has
Is he the same guy,
level
though?
of talent as Hunt, or
the
talent that Ware had.
Like, how do we know?
When he was formerly
There's no reason
off
he
his
wouldn't
knee
be.
injury?
Sure,
Is
there
what I would
is.
say.
He's coming off an injury. He hasn't gotten reps for a year.
But he's still in football shape, I would believe.
I just don't think it's a
He's been
situation
practicing.
where you really need to analyze his tape per se. He's not going to get
I
replaced.
agree with you, but he's
gonna
not. He's not a top 10 running back.
I think he's just outside that, though.
I'd put him in the top 20.
I'd put him in
I'd
top
start
20.
him. I'd start him
15,
every
20.
fucking week.
I would
if
rather
had him
have
right now.
Gus Edwards. I'd rather had Adams.
Gus Edwards is way more script dependent, though.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
I feel like unless the Chiefs go down, which isn't going to happen nearly as much as if Baltimore goes down. Then
Sure, but the Ravens are going to be in most games. They're going to be close. They have a good defense.
So you know who plays this week? Baltimore at Kansas City.
Okay, maybe not
Would you
this
start
week.
Gus Edwards or Spencer Ware?
Probably this week, Spencer Ware. But
Cool, because I'm playing against you, and that's some fantasy advice right there. But yeah, that's my
But
that's
then
my
you've got,
kind of
but
decision right there.
moving
I
off
just
of just-
literally benched Edwards for Ware because I thought about
I would
it.
do
And
the same thing.
Baltimore's the best run D, but it's Spencer Ware, and it's that situation. So it's like I could see him rumbling
they have
for
a lead-
15 for 45.
If they have
and
a lead in the second
touchdown.
half, they're gonna just workhorse them, right? They're gonna just be like, keep running, like keep that lead. Like they're gonna have to. Like at this point, they just need a couple more wins to clinch.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I feel
think
like
the Chiefs are going to pass a lot more
That
than I think.
also
I
plays
think for
into
the
Ware's
first
skill.
time, because the Lamar Jackson Ravens with Gus Edwards, they've been against the Raiders and the Bengals at home, and then they went into Atlanta and they had the lead early and they kept it.
And the
that's
Chiefs'
been
D has gotten
Gus
better as the
Edwards,
season goes, too.
Like
Yeah, they're a top 12 team.
if they're down more than a touchdown, they're going to be going to Ty Montgomery in the backfield and try to run more of a spread offense. You know, Ty Montgomery is on the Ravens, right?
No.
I actually did not know that.
He's still rocking number 88.
He
too.
actually had a good game last week, and I might start him in a DFS lineup. But that's neither here nor there.
But anyway, so other players who are down, we've got James Conner. James Conner went
Big
down.
injury this week.
And I think that actually plays into Hooven's strong point here because Sean's last on the waiver wires. And
This will be
Burying the
Everyone's
lead,
gonna pick
burying
up-
the lead right here because
Yeah.
this is huge for this week's.
This will really bear out whether our theory about situation and matters as much as it does, or talent.
Well, I would say
Anywhere that
this:
weighs.
like,
Not necessarily.
look at James
though.
Conner's
Jalen
success
Sims is
versus
good.
what Le'Veon Bell probably would have done. It's not like,
No, that's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying,
Was it a situation thing, or was Connor really that talented?
yeah, I think it might be a situation thing.
I think we
I
see
think
this
anyone
all the
can
time.
run if they're a fucking running back for the Steelers.
It's poor man's.
LeGarrette Blunt,
this.
when like
Spencer
Le'Veon Bell
Ware's
was
poor
out,
man's Hunt. Jalen Samuels is going to be poor man's Connor. Connor's obviously better than Jalen Samuels. He's a force.
Sure.
He runs through arm tackles. Jalen Samuels is a converted like H back. Like he's tight end eligible in Yahoo leagues because he's just kind of like this tubby guy that can actually catch the
I
ball
think
and
he'll
run
get
through
shit done,
holes.
man.
But he's no James Conner who runs with like ferocity. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure,
Like,
sure.
But it's still in
But look at what
fantasy
they
that
did.
literally knocks you down like half a like 5-6 spots. You know, like
but look at what
instead of a
they
solid
did
RB2.
when Le'Veon Bell was suspended with LeGarrette Blunt, right? Like
No, you're D'Angelo Williams.
D'Angelo Williams, but they also did it with LeGarrette Blunt one year. He was on the Steelers when Le'Veon Bell was hurt for a couple of games or something like
I
that.
remember Le'Veon and Blunt were smoking blunts
Yeah.
before the airport. So
There you
yeah,
go.
that must be true.
No, it's true. And like you're right, D'Angelo Williams as well. Like
Right.
every running back who's had a starting role on the Steelers over the past 5 years has had success during the games that they start.
Tends to happen when your wide receivers are Antonio Brown and
Right.
And Juju
Smith-Schuster.
Smith-
Right,
Yeah.
and so Ware has the same idea as far as like great passing game enables the run game, but
Exactly.
like, James Conner was kind of poor man's Le'Veon, but it turns out he wasn't really because he was really solid, especially in the run game. I feel like Jalen is going to be a step down from James Conner, but
Yeah.
like the system dictates fantasy value in
Right.
as far as fantasy running backs go. It doesn't work the same way for wide receivers or anything else.
Sure.
But
I mean, look at the Dalvin Cook and Latavius Murray.
yeah, Gus Edwards.
Well, Latavius
versus
Murray
Alex Collins. Well, he just took his
Saved me
job.
some games this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, he played well.
Yeah.
It is interesting. So the point is the running backs don't matter. So go ahead and don't draft Gurley first next year.
Here's a good example, and we can talk about our Niners too, because a good example I think of like talent really knocking you down is I really do like Matt Breida's talent.
So do I.
And,
I do too.
Shifty.
And is his name Jeff Wilson Jr.?
Yeah,
The
I
new
believe
guy?
you're correct.
Yeah,
He sounds like he's a white guy who owns a sports equipment store.
That's a good one. I could see that, or like pool cleaning or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen much of him play, but like, I just don't have the same faith that I would have on a winning team like the Chiefs or the Steelers.
I think that
I
does
think
make a
it's-
difference, right?
Yeah.
I think it's hard for me
Where
because
it's like
I
greatest matchup
love
dependent.
the eye test for running backs especially.
Is Melvin Gordon playing next week, by the way?
Questionable.
It's yeah.
I'm a big fan of the eye test.
So the
like
eye
for
test,
you.
Mr. Justin Jackson looks real good, folks. The running back for the Chargers.
Yeah.
He basically took the second
He's
half
tall,
job
right?
from Eckler. He's similar to Eckler as far as measurables. I think he's like 6 foot and like 200. That's
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I loved Mostart when I saw him.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, this guy's good. He's gonna start to get more
He's just
reps.
a slasher and yeah.
Yeah, I mean like that's a big part of it. It's tough though. I mean, I'm sure I can't
It's all
think
tough.
of any now, but there's got to be stories where the opposite is true, where someone goes down and they just don't perform.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like
I mean, even like
when's like Zeke was like out, like it's not like
Sure.
Alfred Morris,
Morris.
and who else was there? There was someone else on that team that was also like a starter, like on a different team.
Felix Jones or
I apologize, guys. Justin Jackson, 6 foot, only 199 pounds.
Wow.
That's my bad.
But like, yeah, when Zeke went out,
Get out.
like the Cowboys weren't running.
yeah, and
You
they had a
know.
great offensive line.
Yeah, they had a great offensive line.
David
Or
Johnson goes down.
Chase
I mean,
Edmonds would be
Nothing happened
He
for
scored
right,
two touchdowns, right?
But I mean, all
Yeah.
last year.
So it's
You know
just
what I mean?
it's poor man's this is kind of the way you can think about these things, but that is
For sure.
incredibly valuable in these matchup dependent situations. You know what I mean? So like Jalen Samuels is going to be absolutely our number one.
And at the end of the day, you got to start at least 2 running backs. And
Yeah.
you got to fill it in.
and likely 3. I still feel like I would rather start a running back in my flex unless you just have
Yeah,
3 top
I
20
agree.
wide receivers.
Well, that's what fucked my team, right? Like my 3 top picks. Like my 3 top picks this year were running backs, and 2 of whom did not pan out: Royce Freeman and Dalvin Cook. That's kind of what brought me to my knees.
Yeah.
Like
I'll bring you to your knees.
Yes.
And with that, let's talk about a few more injuries that are non-running back related.
Do we have any more? Yeah.
Well, we have A.J. Green out for the season, tore his toe ligaments. Came back for like 1 quarter.
Good or bad for Tyler Boyd?
Bad.
I agree.
I think
the
so
numbers
too.
back it
I
up.
just don't think he can be a wide receiver one.
I heard today that
Which
his
kinda hurts
targets
moving.
his targets and yards go down slightly when Green is off the field, surprisingly.
Mm.
Because his role doesn't change. He's still the slot receiver.
But maybe
just
they
more
sign
defensive
someone.
focus.
Hopefully they sign someone.
I don't think so. This late in the season, I mean,
Who's there to
like,
sign?
yeah, exactly. Like,
Brandon Marshall, right? No.
He's on the Saints.
Yeah,
and
the Saints
he's
now.
all still Brandon
There's
Marshall.
literally no-
He's still 44.
unless Dez
Yeah,
wants to
that's
come and play for the Bengals, like, give me a break.
Dez
No,
tore his
there's
Achilles.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
But,
why he's not on the
Also
Saints.
signed by the Saints.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's
they
why
tried.
Brandon Marshall's on the Saints. But the point being, like, at this late in the game, especially the Bengals
right.
season is just sunsetting right now. So,
Yeah,
No.
dare to dream.
and then
Jeremy Macklin.
there you go.
Maybe some garbage
He's probably
time
gained
though
like
for
50
Boyd.
pounds
Right.
somewhere. He's still back down in Missouri,
There you
just
go.
getting fat.
He'll be Facebook friends with me again.
Are there any other big
Um,
injuries before we
Greg
transition?
Olson.
Greg
out for
Olson.
the year. Yeah. So do you,
Sounds like a lot of your team.
well in another league. I had AJ Green and Greg Olson in another league.
yeah, in another league.
So are these playoff players? I do want to ask. I doubt it. Just checking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Chris Carson and Kerryon Johnson are both questionable. James Conner's out.
And
He's
Kerryon
designated
Johnson.
as out now, by the way, officially.
Really?
Gordon's questionable.
Yeah. And then Gordon's questionable.
Bad, man.
Watkins is
That'd
questionable.
be a huge start for me.
Malcolm Brown's doubtful.
Deshaun Jackson went down and Chris Godwin went off last week. If anybody in the
What about Lamar Jackson? He's still questionable, right? Concussion protocol.
no, he actually returned to the game.
Cam Newton's
Is Flacco
questionable,
going to play?
but
He's
Why-
been questionable. Flacco's had his hip injury, so
Why would you start Flacco again if you're the
they're not gonna. I don't think
Ravens?
so. What I think they might do, and it sounds crazy, but it might
Hybrid.
be a decent option. Is if they go, they start Lamar, he's in for the first quarter and a half against the Chiefs, if they go down a couple
start
scores,
Cole had
they
Greg
need to
Olsen.
start passing, and Lamar's not going to be the passer they need.
Right,
him
they'll
to
be able to key on him too much.
Exactly. So the
read
goal is to
options,
win
so.
with Jackson. They've won 3 straight with him, but it can't continue to be this positive game script against the Chiefs, I don't think. So.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's funny we talk about all these injuries to running backs, but in reality, like, it really only matters for the teams in the playoffs.
I don't agree, because I do not want to have a T-shirt that someone else gets to pick and a team name and a team picture.
I could care less about what happens to the teams not in the playoffs.
Oh, for sure.
'Cause those are
but
like-
I care because I'm there.
Those are like second-class citizens to me.
Brutal. Brutal. I still have more wins than you.
What do you mean?
I have 2. You have 1.
Oh, championship wins.
Championship wins.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm still. My pride is that I've never taken last too. So I also don't want.
You sound
that.
like a Dodger fan talking about championships in 1954.
Mine was 2 years ago. It was more recent than yours, wasn't
I think so. Anyway,
All right, so Jordan had Green.
it? Yeah, and
Brian
Cole
had
has
Cole.
Greg
Yeah,
Olsen.
yeah, Olsen.
Yeah, and then Teef had Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
we
no-
already
no
dropped.
big
Kudos
injuries.
to Teef for keeping up with his shit, even though he's in last place.
no big injuries in the top 4 playoff teams right now. I don't know. Thank Black Jesus.
James Conner's already out though. And
How did I
that-
make the 3 seed? Can anyone explain that?
I
to
don't
me?
know how that happened, but
I messaged you going into week 1 after the Tuesday practice reports. I had 9 questionable tags on my team.
Oh yeah.
But
You
only
ended up having a decent week.
only Sammy Watkins sat out. So I can't complain.
So,
but losing James Conner is a big deal for Sean because now he's got to rely on
oh yeah, right.
Kerryon Johnson and Chris Carson, who are both on questionable designation right now,
Okay, so
and
you're
Jordan Howard, who's been treading downhill.
You're talking about it. Let's do it. Let's do our next segment, which is playoff start sit.
All right.
And let's start with Mr. Sean.
Let's start at the
Kim.
top.
So that's up.
The prince who was chosen, Sean Kim, who seems a little overly confident now about how good his team is.
Well, he's only 0.9 points up on someone who's been in a hospital for two months and lost 20 pounds from sickness, and now he lost James Conner. So
Stay up, Hoove.
There you go,
better.
buddy. We got you.
And I think you're going to win. I'm betting on Hooven. I bet Hooven to beat Pat that one week, and I was right.
Yeah,
and
Sean.
I'm betting Hooven to beat
The
Sean.
matchups do not look good for Sean this week.
And he has a running back crisis, and he has the 10th overall waiver claim because he's been going ham.
And believe you me,
ham
if
on
it comes down
waivers.
to me at 5th waiver claim, I'm taking one of those two because I still, like I said, I am not not
We're talking
taking care of
about
my team.
We're talking about playoff teams right now.
Yeah, but that still fucks Sean. That affects
Sure
Sean.
does. I'm just fucking with you.
It affects the playoffs. I will get you one way or another, boy.
So let's
Even
look
if it's
into
from the
it.
loser bracket.
Let's look into it. Start sit. So Sean has to fill in a running back and a flex. His options.
Carry on is not certain to come back this week.
No, he's
Either.
not.
Like, I would give him 40% chance to make it back.
If he does, he's got a pretty good matchup though.
An amazing
Although Arizona
matchup.
is playing. a
No,
little
it's
bit
an
better.
amazing matchup, but I think they're
I
going to
mean, they beat the Packers, bro.
I mean, it's Matt Patricia, and their team is out of it. They're not about to give Carry on 20 carries. So,
Yeah.
like, I wouldn't feel great about that, even if if he returns to a full practice on Wednesday, all right, maybe fine. But if he's limited, as he's probably going to be, if anything, I mean, like, Chris Carson dislocated his finger this last Sunday.
God,
And I don't like Mike Davis.
Yeah, the wheels are coming off here a little
man,
bit.
he just Traquan
And Jordan
Smith at
Howard's
Tampa Bay
been-
might be a sneaky start though.
Who's that, Traquan?
Traquan at Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
But his wide receiver core
as
is
a
fine. He's-
desperation play.
I guess it's a
I mean,
flex.
You're talking about as a flex. So you're talking about your
Are you
over,
about to start a guy in the
over
playoffs
unders?
that just goose egged last week, though?
Yeah, but I mean, there's going to be 75 points
And
scored
you've
in this
got
game.
Brandon Marshall. You've got.
As a Hail Mary, I really like it, but
But
yeah.
I don't know that it works.
So like, yeah.
I also
We're
think
homeboys
Zeke
in
is
trouble.
overprojected. I
Also,
don't
he's got
think
the
he'll
Bears
get
D
21.4.
against the Rams.
That's a
I don't
high
think that's a
projection.
good start.
Let's say carry on starts. All right, let's operate on that. Between Chris Carson against Minnesota, questionable. Jordan Howard against the Rams. Golden Tate at Dallas, the number 2 pass defense. or Traquan Smith versus the 31st ranked pass defense in Tampa Bay. Who are you going to start in flex?
If Carson's fingers healed, I'm starting Carson.
What about if he's not?
You just said if he is playing, right?
No, if Carry-On plays.
Oh, so but you included Carson, so I said I'd start Carson. But if it wasn't, I would probably start Tate based on what I've seen because
Just last week and how he kind of opened up the offense.
Dallas's boundary corners are amazing, and their middle of their field is less so, and that's why I'd feel all right about Tate.
They do have the potential defensive rookie of the year in the middle of the field, Van
Der Esch,
Van Der
he's
Esch.
lined up. How often is he going to be matched up against Tate?
Yeah.
Only zones where he's on that field, beside the field. So I would start probably Tate, but I wouldn't feel good about it. And I don't think your Traquan call is crazy, but
I'm going to go ahead and say Traquan scores over 14 points this week.
consensus rank has Traquan at 36 and Golden Tate at 32. So it's pretty close. Yeah.
All right.
But,
Interesting questions for Sean. Though,
yeah, I
absolutely.
mean,
It's gonna be a
would
tough
you-
week.
Would you start?
God,
would you start Bears D against the Rams?
See, it's tough.
They had a
Do you
poor
start
Rams-
Ramsey against the Bears? Because
Rams-
that's what his opponent has to deal with, right?
Absolutely.
Really?
Trubisky's might not play.
Oh, okay. If he doesn't play, then yeah, absolutely.
Chicago's the 15th ranked.
Hooven holds
according to
to.
consensus defense.
So
Yeah.
just keeping in this matchup and like
Rams had a
talking
bad
like
week
both
last
teams in the matchup.
The Rams had a bad week last week. Is that what you just said?
They were worth
No,
9 points.
Jared Goff had a bad week offensively.
Oh, offensively. I was
Yeah.
like, did you see Aaron Donald?
No, offensively, the Rams didn't look that great.
So if you're Hooven and you want to like pull this off, now that we've talked about Sean's team a little bit, right? He's projected a little bit less than Sean, but I really like his chances in a lot of ways. But like, I think the first thing you got to do is you got to take Joe Mixon. Nice. You got to take Joe Mixon out and bring James White in, right?
Thanks for pointing it that way, by the way.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
A for the matchup, but B because James White's just been the better running back all year.
He hasn't been getting a ton of love.
He scored
mean,
15.3 last week.
Yeah, against
Minnesota.
right, but again, this is a game script thing. That was a close game.
Yeah.
You know, they kept passing. Do they go up early against the Dolphins, and then Sonny Michel's the one who gets all the love from the running backs?
It's a tough call. I mean, but he is ranked 9 versus like a rank 14 Joe Mixon with a better matchup overall, probably.
You have to imagine that the Chargers, especially the way they're playing right now, probably get out to an early lead against the deflated Bengals, which means a lot of Gio Bernard in the passing game.
Yeah.
That's a tough one. I don't know. Who would you start there, Tim?
I would just stick with Mixon and Chubb. I mean, I like
Right.
that. I like that James White sitting on the bench for sure. But
Do you
I
put
mean,
him in for Robert Woods and maybe or
You don't mess with that wide receiver core at all.
What
Okay.
about Drake
No way. No
No.
way.
against New England?
For me, it goes Chubb, Mixon, White, Drake. Experts, it
And then-
goes
and then
Chubb,
Deion Lewis?
Mixon, White, Drake.
And
do
then
you
Gion Lewis?
if you're
Kenyon's
Hooven,
28, and the next closest.
if
guy
you're Hooven,
is
do you go grab a defense? Like drop your Patriots defense, grab another defense, and maybe fill in for the Rams,
I wouldn't.
just
I
as,
think-
in case like Trubisky does play.
I don't think so.
I think Chicago's offense is overrated.
Do you switch kickers or do you just roll the Mason Crosby?
No, that's a great
I
kicker.
would switch kickers.
Really?
See,
Yeah,
Personally,
Mason
I think-
Crosby missed a game winner or a game tire last week.
Yeah, but the week after he missed 4 field goals,
I think
he
that
put
guy's.
up
I think that
17
guy's
17
cut.
points.
I think
After
he's
I
gonna
dropped
get-
him.
I think he's gonna get cut after the season. If they can cut him, they're gonna cut him.
projecting kickers is such bullshit.
I know.
Oh, for sure.
dumb.
It's like it all has to do with opportunity.
But like the question is like, are you just going to go for it or not? Like
the best kickers.
if you're in the
are-
playoffs,
Let's not get too far into the kickers.
Yeah.
the best kickers are ones that are on teams that can't score in the red zone but can move the ball.
I'm just super
Yeah.
happy I got a good one this league because they punish missed field goals. And Crosby on the frozen
we
tundra.
punish it
I
less
don't
than
trust
ESPN
that.
standard, by the way.
ESPN standard has a punish for.
Yeah, it's -1 for missed extra points or missed field goals. It's ESPN standard.
Are you?
I changed ours to -0.5 a point for missed extra points, so I actually gave you extra points here. I promise you,
So
I've
stop
been
complaining.
messing with our
No.
scoring system for years.
All right, I'll look that up. But most
is.
standard leagues for eons have been
yeah.
no minus points for kickers. But anyway,
It's
But
ESPN
you
standard.
guys are right. At a glance, like Tim's lineups and his matchups look really good this week.
I would pick who.
I think I would too.
Yeah.
And I'm rooting for him because he's laid up. And
Plus, he's white and Sean's Asian, and
you heard it here
Touching that with a
first.
10-foot
history.
You heard it here first, Sean.
Just kidding, bud.
He's not.
I love you.
He's not.
I'll tell you one guy I don't like. Jordan Reed.
Yeah, but
Mark
I was just looking
Sanchez
at.
throwing him the ball.
I was just looking at who's
Number-
available on tight end. Who would you take?
How is he the number 9?
He's doing actually pretty good.
He's been
This
He had
like
a couple
fine.
good weeks
He's just
past
been
couple
fine.
weeks.
but like, who
Hey,
would you
congrats.
take?
Kyle Rudolph.
Congrats to Jordan Reed for not getting hurt this year.
Yeah,
First time in the past decade.
I would 100% pick up Kyle Rudolph and start him over Jordan Reed.
I don't know. You don't. A lot
At
of times,
Seattle,
you got
I
to
don't
think
care.
though. A lot of times when a new quarterback comes in,
they go to the tight end.
yeah, they go to safety valves.
Honestly, I'm not changing it if I'm him. Like I think
I would keep it too.
I think you got to.
Yeah. Experts.
It got him there.
Experts agree with you guys, but I don't know.
It got him there too. You know what I mean? Like if you can't fuck with what gets you there.
It's Mark fucking Sanchez.
I mean,
Yeah, but who else is he gonna fucking throw to? He doesn't have
think
the long
about
ball.
how many highlights does he have thrown downfield?
I mean, how many highlights does he have throwing down, like, just on the field? Like, he's not going to get,
What are you
like...
talking
Hey,
about, man?
at
He made it in a fucking AFC Championship game one year.
What
and
year?
he fumbled with his butt.
Yeah, what year?
Show some respect.
But he's got
He
most
was on
of the same
street,
coaches.
like, washing his laundry at a mat, like,
You know
2
what the
weeks
thing
ago.
is though? The Redskins are a recycled team, right? They have like a bunch of people who used to coach Mark Sanchez. I think they know what his strengths are, and I think they know that they'll be checking down to the tight end. I think that's going to be their
You
game
have
plan.
to make the game plan simple for him coming in. It's
I
gonna
think
be,
Jordan,
it's gonna
this is
be
a good Jordan Reed win.
I actually do too.
I feel good about it.
All right, let's make a gentleman's bet.
All right. Well, okay. Speaking of gentlemen's bets, Tim and I have agreed that we will just both buy 6-packs because Leonard Fournette's been injured since our bet,
I mean, did you?
and
agree
Kareem
to that?
Hunt's a monster.
Well,
You agreed to that.
we owe each other beer or just the
We'll just drink beer together.
exactly.
Sure.
As-
I
as
think
per
it's a
usual.
win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Life sucks.
Let's set this bet up. So how about we just take what his average fantasy points per game is and call it an over/under? Does he get more or less of that?
You want to do
Jordan
over
Reed?
under?
Yes.
Sure.
So it's 7.7 points, which is really gross.
I'm gonna say over.
I'm gonna say
I would
over.
probably say over based on that, but I am sticking with my guns and I'm
Hey,
saying under.
7.7 points gets him the 9th ranked in
That's
the league.
insanely
Tight
disgusting.
ends
That's how
are
bad tight ends have been
year.
this year.
Should we discuss turning tight ends into just a flex spot?
No, I
No.
think
It's
you gotta have
becoming
tight
a
ends.
conversation in fantasy circles.
Then let's
I
do
heard
that for kickers.
I heard on the podcast today that
Do you remember
tight
kickers
ends
from
But
fantasy?
hang on, this is relating to kickers. Tight ends are less predictable than kickers. Like
Yeah.
if you take the whole
I don't know.
scope
I
of
went
the
and got
position,
OJ Howard and had very
it's more of
predictable
a crapshoot
success.
than
And then when
kickers
he
are.
went down, I got Cameron Brate, and he's been nice. I think if you're paying the fuck attention, it's like the litmus test, right? Like if you're paying attention, you can get points out of the tight end slot.
Trust me,
but
I'm
if you're
playing
not
devil's
paying
advocate.
attention, you're Timor and you start Antonio Gates for 90% of the year.
I like the tight end
Yeah.
slot personally. I think there's guys out there.
It's getting worse. I think there's a ton of strategy in it. I'm playing devil's advocate. It's just like
Totally.
it's getting to that point because there's no longer 10 reputable.
I think
tight
it'll
ends
come
in
back
the league.
around though, because remember we had the year where it was like tight ends were the thing. You know, I think
hope
it's just
so.
I think
the
the
Aaron
NFL.
Hernandez year.
Yeah, and then he murdered people.
Yeah, well, there should be a lot of good young tight ends that are coming up. So
Well, I think that's the kind of thing, right? It's like it's cyclical. Like you always have to have a weapon that people aren't expecting. You know, like there was the year when Vernon Davis was fucking great. You know, and at the same time you had Gronk, you had Hernandez, you had I forgot his name. He's retired now. He was on the Falcons.
Tony Gonzalez.
Tony Gonzalez.
Jimmy Graham.
And you had Jimmy Graham. You had Antonio Gates being good that
Jason-
year.
don't forget Todd Heap, y'all.
Todd Heap. Jason
Jason
Witten.
Witten.
Yeah.
And
Dallas
then-
Clark.
Yeah, and that was only a few years ago. I
That
think
was
it
a
just
decade ago.
it
Yeah.
wasn't.
But they,
Yes, it
they,
was.
they were good tight ends.
It was
back
half of it. Was. We haven't been playing this league
Most
for
of
a
them,
decade.
though, most of those players are like when they were good. It was like 8 to 10 years ago.
then. Yeah.
So,
I mean,
like,
Heap and Dallas Clark.
But we had one year where they were all good at the same time, and that was about 4 years ago. And I think it's cyclical, right? Like, I mean, there was a year when like wide receivers were better than running backs, and then like it kind of all goes back and forth because coaches are always trying to surprise the opposing defenses.
I will remain hopeful.
and
I
I
remain
also
hopeful.
I wouldn't want to personally eliminate tight ends because
It's fun.
I have, in my opinion, the best tight end in the league. Zach Ertz,
He's
I
not
like
he's
Ertz.
like not even a tight
NorCal,
end.
Monta Vista, baby.
He's basically a slot wide receiver.
Well, and I think that's what you're going to end up seeing, right? Like, and then
Did
like,
you guys
there'll be
know
worse
who
points.
all-time single season receptions leader is for the Philadelphia Eagles?
Zach Ertz
What year?
this year.
Yeah, already.
Yeah.
He has 4 more games to play.
94, something like that.
Yeah.
Pretty surprising. Like,
That
you would
it's
think
only
they'd have
that.
at least one 100 reception guy.
I know, right?
What about that guy Mark Wahlberg played?
Invincible.
Invincible, yeah. What's up with your shit, bro? How'd you get a movie done? Didn't even get 100 receptions, short motherfucker.
Oh boy.
All right.
All right,
Past
so-
talking shit. Let's tear his team apart.
Let's move
do
into
it.
the matchup. I'm just pulling up both teams at the same
Hey,
time.
Aaron Rodgers actually might have a good matchup this week.
I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be so fucking happy to be rid of Mike McCarthy that he's going to
He
have
may
his
just
best game
have
of the
a
year.
fire under his ass.
So do you start him over Phil?
You have to.
You do?
You have to.
I
When a coach changes, that's
Don't
usually
know.
that team's best week.
don't know.
Consensus rank: Aaron Rodgers 5, Rivers 6. It's that close.
I
it's
believe
tough for
it.
me.
I believe that Rodgers will pay off for you.
I
mean this because I think I read a stat that in years where a coach gets fired, statistically the best week of that team's year is usually the week after the coach gets fired. Because I think like all the players know they're playing for their fucking jobs after a coach gets fired, right? Because you just don't know what the next coach is going to want,
Or they
right?
want to prove that they weren't that guy's team.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
look
I mean,
at
there
the
might be 100 reasons, but statistically, they usually play their best week the
Look
week
at the
after the coach
Browns.
gets fired. Look at the Browns.
I don't know. Aaron Rodgers does seem like a very spiteful asshole.
Oh yeah,
Well, him and McCarthy clearly weren't.
nice
getting
move
along
having Austin
down the end.
Eckler to back up your Melvin Gordon pick.
I had him all year. It didn't really work for me though. So
It might
Look
work
at
for
these
you this
matchups
week.
though for Pat. Aaron Rodgers 31. If he wants to go to Rivers 32.
Oh, I'm gonna go
as
ahead
in,
and
as
make
in the
these
second
even.
best and best matchups for quarterbacks.
I'm going to go ahead and make this better too.
Eckler has literally the best.
Switch my
matchup
D
for
out
running
if you want to
backs.
refresh your page there. You can.
Moved in Titans D's. That way, you're wearing the Titans hat.
Well, he took actually Chiefs D out. I'm actually starting the Titans D against Pat.
I pulled up Girly Man. Ha.
He just started Broncos at San Francisco. I will be at that game, so I will be definitely rooting for Case Keenum and Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not terribly scared of like Josh Reynolds in the
I don't
flex.
believe I'm going to start him.
You got some nice opponent ranks this week. That's a nice
Exactly.
week for you.
I do have to make
But you
up
also
10
have a
points,
10-point
though.
deficit, which means you can't win by just a little. You got to win by a decent amount.
I'm going to start Jarvis Landry as well.
Meanwhile, Todd Gurley's uninjured,
Which
so
puts
you
my
should be
whole team
afraid
on green.
of Todd Gurley always, even
Yeah.
against the Bears.
Of course.
Spencer Ware could fuck you, or he could not fuck you.
I mean, take me out to dinner.
I
first.
like Devontae
So would you make
Adams
real
a
quick
lot.
if we can go back to Pat's team, Mike? Would you make
Yeah.
any changes?
It's a Pats team. Let's see. You really want my advice too. I did real good this year.
Yeah, exactly.
If
Trying
Melvin
to get
Gordon,
you-
Actually, I won out
if
though.
Melvin Gordon plays,
You got to put
that
Melvin
should put
Gordon.
real fear in your heart.
I would say so.
I agree with that.
I mean, honestly, no.
But at the
I'm
same
starting Aaron
time,
Rodgers,
like, if-
and none of these bench guys am I starting over anyone that's playing.
Dude,
I
he's
think,
got an MCL sprain. I don't think that against the Bengals. I think it would really actually spread the wealth in that backfield. I wouldn't be that
Absolutely,
scared.
but
I'm
all
almost
it takes
more
is a
scared
couple touchdowns.
if they're like, no, we're sticking with Eckler. If they like come out and say Eckler,
He's our
Eckler's
guy.
our guy,
Yeah.
that scares me.
But yeah, you're not touching Carlos Hyde. You're not touching Sutton. You're not touching Jeffrey or Josh Reynolds.
the only one for me is the Rivers Rodgers question.
Yeah,
Other
or
than that,
I guess
I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward. I
you
got to start Landry.
you could debatably start Chiefs D over Broncos D.
No.
But like
Why would I do that?
I'm just
They're
saying.
playing the San Francisco 49ers.
No, I understand why you did it. I'm just saying. But then you know what the thing is, the Niners sneakily they score a lot of fucking points. They score a lot of fucking points.
Been pretty shitty the last few weeks.
That's true. They have been. But I mean,
Broncos D the rest of the year. At San Francisco versus Cleveland at Oakland.
I'm not telling you not to do it. I just said debatably. You could have the conversation. I didn't say I would change it. I just said you could talk about it.
I mean, I also had a conversation a couple of weeks ago with one of the guys I know who thinks that the moon is a planet. So
Now I'm
Yeah,
sad.
having the conversation doesn't necessarily give any credence.
Yeah,
to,
you just made me real sad though. Well, what about you, Timothy? Are you going
Let's
to do
look at
some
Tim's
wavering?
Yeah, well, most definitely have to waiver. Ball is going to waiver.
so real quick, the consensus for my team is make my quarterback decision and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Basically.
yeah,
You have a waiver
there are
over
some other
every-
things that I may or may not do.
No one in the
I'll fill in the
playoffs.
pod after this.
Well,
far
here's
as
the
what
thing.
I would
No
have
one
done
in the
different,
playoffs
but,
except for Hooven.
You talking about
Pat
Josh
doesn't,
Reynolds?
get to, Pat doesn't get to know.
Well,
Josh Reynolds,
Pat
Portland
has
seven?
a lower waiver pick than you, so
I don't really give a shit.
I'm just getting in his head. Don't worry.
Get
I'm
him
rocking
in.
with my team. I'm the rattiest team there is.
you could grab that James Conner sub in.
If anybody has red zone, viability, it's Josh Reynolds. So
You could lose that Malcolm Brown and
Josh Reynolds.
I'm dropping Malcolm Brad.
Yeah, and you could go snag James Conner's backup, and that could pan out for you.
Oh, I'll definitely be making a claim. I mean, Hoove has number 1 overall.
We'll see what Hoove does.
But I will definitely be making a phone call to Hoove. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, buddy, I heard you're not
You're
feeling
sick.
well.
My
No,
big
you
de-
should
my
get some
two big
Jalen
decisions-
Samuels.
You know what always makes me feel better?
Jalen Samuels.
You're such a good caregiver.
Projected 14.5er. But, I mean, Jeff Wilson Jr. is projected 13.8, so maybe he's... But, you have some
Hey,
nice
thank
things.
God we're playing each other, though.
Good luck.
Because otherwise we would have been both looking
Big time.
not too hot right now.
Yeah, for real. This is the biggest slap fight of this century. So, whereas Pat's quarterback matchups are just so filthy good, mine are filthy nasty. Matt Ryan at Green Bay and
You can at least
Kirk
snag
Cousins
Pat's-
at Seattle. Do you know I had Lamar Jackson and it was my third quarterback and I dropped him for Gus Edwards because
Sean
I
picked
didn't.
him up.
Yeah, because it was like I
Not
had
a
an
bad pickup.
embarrassment of riches, and then it turns out, this week I'm like, ugh.
You gotta look at matchups, brother. You should know this.
But I mean, you shouldn't be carrying 3 quarterbacks.
That's true, too.
At the end of the year,
Or 3 defenses or 3 tight ends, Teeth.
all that goes out
Would
the
you
window.
rather start Matt Ryan
I rocked
at
three,
Green Bay?
I rocked
or
3 defenses the last
think
2
of-
weeks.
Just listen. Would you rather start Matt Ryan at Green Bay or Lamar Jackson at Kansas City this week?
Matt Ryan.
Exactly. So, when was I going to
He's
start
position
Lamar
rank
Jackson?
6.
Yeah.
Period.
That's the thing. But, I mean, I would start Kirk over Matt Ryan as I did, which they were both just gross last week. Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins really screwed me up because my team did all right.
You won
but-
by 10 points last week.
And Kirk got 7.6 points or
Yeah.
something for me. It was bad.
Imagine if you had a real quarterback playing.
Exactly.
7.
Yeah, 7 even or whatever. So, I need something better out of Matt Ryan, and Green Bay's pass D is, fine. Jair Alexander is a baller. And if he's, shutting down Julio, then what is Matt Ryan going to do? He's going to throw a bit to
Ridley.
Austin Hooper. But, Green Bay's tight end defense is actually really good. So, throw out of the backfield to...
And again, are they revitalized after the firing of their coach? And
Yeah, that's a big thing.
you don't know.
But
I
Here's
mean,
the thing.
honestly,
Side note.
hopefully, well, I would say
Well, you
hopefully
also-
they put a point so that Matt Ryan throws more, but he has Rodgers, so I'm like,
Yeah, but you know what you have?
I truly,
You have Devontae Adams.
Yeah, I truly believe that this matchup might come down to
how many touchdowns
Adams gets.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's a big deal. But, speaking of stuff that we talked about earlier,
Or whether or not he gets my anthrax
Package.
package that I sent him
Get
last
care
week.
package, yeah.
Good. That white powder. Speaking of something we talked about earlier, I just noticed this. How we were talking about, Tyler Boyd and, how, losing A.J. Green might, hurt him for Hooven. I'm just saying, we were talking about who's available at wide receiver. The Bills just cut Kelvin Benjamin, and he's, that big kind of guy who commands some space.
He's not getting picked up by anybody.
Go get him.
And even if he
Bengals.
does, he's not.
I
yeah,
could
but
see the
Help
Bengals
Hooven
doing
out.
something stupid like that.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
what I'm
but
saying. They
spin him
also picked up
spin
Hugh
him
Jackson.
Week 1.
The next gen stats have been brutal against Kelvin
Please
this year.
pick up
But-
Kelvin.
He has
but
the
how many-
slowest game
okay,
speed.
we talked
and
about
the
this earlier this
lowest, degree of separation for any other outside.
Sure.
receiver in the
But
league.
we talked about this
He's like a
earlier this
lazy
year,
Des
right?
Bryant.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier this year, right? How many Bills receivers have been shit on that team and then gone somewhere and been good? Because he was pretty decent when he was on the
He isn't anymore. He's dogging it.
And not that
but
many.
actually, a pretty good amount.
Sammy Watkins, still pretty shitty.
But Chris Hogan and
Chris
Robert
Hogan.
Woods.
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods was
But everyone always
so-
liked Robert Woods.
I loved him.
I always liked him. I mean, I don't know.
But he was not good on the Bills.
yeah, but he's on the Rams. It's not like he's doing it on the Niners. He's on the Rams. He hasn't seen double coverage all year.
That's true. I'm just saying,
Same thing with Chris Hogan. It's like the guy didn't go play for the freaking Buccaneers. He's on Bill Belichick's
They were
team.
both
It's
third options.
and he also
basically,
sucks
14.
now. So
Yeah, well, Hogan does now.
Yeah, I heard
but
he's going-
he's 31 and he's a white guy and he's
and
lost all his
in his
athleticism.
heart, he just wants to play lacrosse.
Maybe.
He's once played lacrosse. Is that a thing?
He's a professional lacrosse player.
Oh.
I mean, Curley went on to be pretty decent, like, for a year.
Who?
Jeremy Curley. He had some good moments.
The guy on the Jets?
Yeah, he had a year where he actually was in the top 20 in fantasy. That was like 4 years ago.
You're never going to convince either guy on this side of the table.
I want to league with
football.
Curley on my team. I don't give a fuck
That's
what you
gross. That is so gross.
Yeah. You
No,
should
I'm
have
just-
never left that league.
Hey, but how good is
say. It was this league.
Josh
Not
Allen?
you.
Josh Allen looks okay though.
He does.
I kinda like him.
You know what I like about him is he's got balls. He fucking runs.
Yeah.
He's fast.
No, he's leading there. He's clearly a leader of men, whereas Josh Rosen isn't. My friend's a Bills fan, and I was saying when Josh Allen got signed, I loved it as opposed to Josh Rosen because I watched Josh Rosen at UCLA, and he's, as I called him on the third
Jay
podcast,
Cutler.
yeah, reincarnated
Yeah.
Jay Cuddy because he doesn't give a fuck. Whereas Josh Rosen's a big Jim Kelly type
Quick,
quarterback that
going
can
forward, rankings. Mayfield, Rosen,
one.
Peterson.
Four.
No. Who do you got?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Darnold.
Yeah, Darnold,
Jackson.
Baker, Rosen, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Go.
All right, Baker one. I haven't
not
seen
for
enough
him,
of
no.
Darnold. Like, pundits tell me it's Darnold, but I like Josh Allen more. And then fantasy would try to skew me more towards Jackson, but I'm gonna stick with Darnold 3. And then I don't know if Jackson's gonna be able to do this in the NFL. So, and I think Rosen's he's gonna end up being a middling quarterback. So I'm gonna still go Rosen, and then Jackson has a nice start to his career and then fizzles.
All right.
I'm pretty much on board with you. What scares me about Jackson is he's just too fucking skinny.
He's small.
He's so small.
He has 17.
It doesn't
touchdowns
go
a
well for
game.
skinny.
You look at the guys that have held up, could run, and held up. I put in air quotes because
Big ass dudes.
they're even still got banged up. Cam, he's fucking pure muscle.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Vick was pretty big. He was still 6'4".
Alex Smith,
And he was
though,
a scrambler.
Alex
Like,
Smith he's not really a runner.
how many design
he's
runs?
always in the top 3 for rushing
Yeah,
quarterback.
but I mean, he's not.
He's mobile.
But he doesn't
Don't try.
average.
The thing
180
about
yards
Lamar
a game.
Jackson, guys, you shouldn't try to compare Lamar Jackson to other people because the NFL's never really seen this before. He's literally, they design like a dozen plus runs for him every game, and he doesn't scramble. When they have designed run play or pass
You know who
plays for
he
him,
reminds me of?
He throws the ball.
Josh Johnson.
Sure. Yeah, but and like a ton of these read options and stuff. It's
Yeah,
fun,
Kaepernick.
but one of these times he's going to come around the edge and not see the safety coming down and just crush him.
And is it something that's going to be figured out the way Cap got figured out?
I'm still not convinced Cap got figured out. His stats the
Yeah.
last year weren't that bad. They lost like half their fucking team
It
and
was
their
ugly.
coach.
The
Yeah.
read option did not work anymore.
Yeah,
No, but he still
it still works in
had-
the NFL currently. Though.
Yeah, it still works. I think it's just he had a bad coach.
It works, yeah.
But on that note, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll
pee.
come back and finish everything off. I have to pee as well.
All right, so now we get into the funnest part of our fantasy league. And I'm not sure how this came out. I know I was at least a partial influencer in the last place penalties.
Yeah.
Question: are funnest and influencer two words that are actually in the English language?
Influencer
They are
for
now.
sure is.
Yeah.
And
Debatable.
funnest is, in my vernacular, you little bitch.
It's better than funner. I
Yes.
got it.
Yeah.
Most funnest.
Most funnest is
There it is. Thank you.
That's the
All right.
correct
Carry on.
pronunciation.
So we have the loser penalty. Is what I believe you're leading us to.
It's a great thing because it incentivizes
The
people to
toilet
play the rest of the
bowl.
whole year.
When it stops
The
it from like,
Sacco. What do we want to call this?
I mean, I guess the Sacco is like
Can't be the Sacco.
Cue toilet flushing sound.
We need to
do
make our own name.
We need our own name. This is a great point. I've never come up with our own name, but what's our loser bowl's name?
It's called the Coal.
Yes, that's actually what I did call it. The Coal Bowl.
It's called the Coal Bowl.
The Coal Bowl.
I
Sorry,
was thinking
bud.
coal hole, but coal bowl.
I like the
The
Coal.
Coal Hole Bowl.
If you stay in the coal hole long enough, you will eventually play in the Coal Bowl.
That's
Nice. Perfect. All right, so the Coal Bowl. So a common misconception in our league is that like if you take last place in the regular season, you've got last place, but that's just not how it's worked. It just happens to correlate with who ends up taking last place in the often the past few years. in the loser brackets. But the loser brackets count. They do. And I do that for multiple reasons. One of them is that, like, when you four are in the playoffs, or, like, when I've been in the playoffs, like, I want other people to still be waiver claiming. I want it to be competitive. Like, I don't want, like, all four of us to have, like, unfair advantages.
I think it makes it more fun.
The best leagues include something to play for.
Yeah,
for the other players.
Because you don't want everyone just to shit out, you know? Like, you don't, I mean, like, some of our players shit out in week 4. But, like, you know, they have incentive not to. And so, you know, that's their choice. It's their $50 to lose and their T-shirt to wear. And so if you take last place...
you lose $50?
Well, we all buy in $50, right?
Oh, gotcha.
So,
I didn't
like,
know there was another penalty.
No, there's no other penalty. But, like, your buy-in is yours to lose.
So what happens when you lose is there's a T-shirt.
There's a T-shirt that you have to wear.
For what, one full day?
You just have to wear it in public for a day.
Like a night out or whatever.
Yeah.
That is designed by the winner.
Only one person has done it because last year Trisha was the last place person and she bailed out on the league. That will not be accepted moving forward. You will still have to deal with that penalty, at least, if you try to jump out of the league. Teef. But I don't think... We're not going to let Teef leave.
Actually, I don't think Teef is going to be the guy, as we'll get into.
No, actually, ironically, like, as much as he's been last
because
place
he's been paying attention. We just mentioned he got on him. He dropped Kareem Hunt, and he's still somewhat managing his team. So.
But so if you take last place in the loser bowl, it might be Jordan again, which would be hilarious because you'd be the only person to have to do it twice. But you get a T-shirt that is designed by the winner of the league. And so obviously not everyone knows how to Photoshop or design things. Luckily for all of you, I have a media background, and so I'm happy to do the photoshopping for you. So the first year that we did it actually was to Timor, and that was just...
I won that year.
You won that year. And that was a team name and team picture, and so we designed a penis with a war helmet.
I thought I did a good job with that.
Yeah, I love that.
I was very proud of
And then his team name was the
legendary.
Turkle Jerks.
Yes.
And that was a good team name.
Because he's Turkish.
Because he's Turkish. And so then the second year, we added the T-shirt. And that was when Jordan lost. And so I designed Jordan as a penis because I just, followed Pat's lead.
Yeah.
And
continuity matters.
Continuity matters. And his team name, after consulting Deniston and a few people, they were like, Jordan's most, like, painful insult would be to call him, like, an ambulance chaser. Or an entertainment lawyer. So we went with ambulance chaser, which is still his team name to this day. Kudos to Jordan for sticking
really
it out.
Owning it.
Yeah, he really is. And then I had a T-shirt which I put Cole on because I like shitting on Cole. Even though, like, these days I like Cole. Like, a lot. Like, he's
we're calling him
around.
Cole Bowl because you're a competitive and multi-winner.
He's
and
also
so,
first to worst.
Every
Every time he wins, he goes first to worst, like, or like low.
we got it. We got to get him. We got to get him.
I guess there's some volatility with drafting only injured players every year.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has no shame. He's the Washington Redskins of this league.
He really is.
He really
Truly
is. And so,
he's the Washington Redheads
It
of
had
this league.
Cole in, like, his, like, he got, like, for a Christmas present, he got, like, a Mickey Mouse, Snuggie. And so I put a wizard hat on him, and it said, "I am the wizard of fantasy suck." And to his credit, Jordan went out in it and took pictures with strangers wearing the shirt.
That's how it needs to be
And that's how
done.
you got to do it as a loser. You got to own it. I don't want that because I just don't want to Photoshop my own punishments.
Can I make one request?
Yeah.
If Justin loses, I don't have any, do the design on your own. It just needs to be a tall tee.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah,
Of course. I asked Jordan.
He would request that.
Yeah.
I asked
Homeboy
Jordan for
wears
his
the
size
tall
and
tees.
preference. He got a baseball tee
Oh.
because that kind of fit him well.
There you
And
go.
so I'm not going to be like a monster. I'm not going to give you like a small, when you're a plus,
Oh, that'd be terrible.
But so like that's the punishment. And so the loser bracket still counts, and so you still have to play. And I think that makes it more fun.
I haven't even looked at it. Let's take a look at it.
Let's take a look at who's in the loser bracket.
So basically, just
I don't
to
even
give
know
you
how to
the
get there
preamble.
because I've
just go to
never,
the playoff
I've never
bracket?
been part of it.
Right up here.
So to give everyone the preamble while these idiots figure it out, Basically, you have
And so basically-
9 versus
Yeah,
10
so-
right now is Ambulance Chasers versus Rocket Man. That would be Jordan versus Teef.
Winner
And-
winner gets out of the loser bowl. Loser goes to the loser bowl, and then
Correct.
the other matchup
so that's
is
why the seeding is that way.
So,
Yeah.
so the other matchup is Brian Cole versus
Brian Chopik.
It's the battle of the
and
Bryans.
loser goes to the loser bowl. Winner
So
is
5 and 6 are cool.
yeah, I'm cool. I won out after I changed my team name to Will Fuck for
Interesting.
Wins.
I didn't know
Save
that.
myself from this punishment.
I
Right.
didn't know that was a possibility. So if you make it 5th or 6th, you are exempt.
Yeah, and so now I'm just playing to get the best possible seed from last year, just to for bragging rights.
Which we could potentially talk about a consolation ladder reward.
If we ended up with 12 people, I think you could do like a consolation ladder. Like top place gets like $10 or some shit.
That's a great idea.
As long as
far
fourth
a
place gets money.
A money compensation makes the most sense.
I think that's the thing
In
for
one
next
of my
year.
leagues, the person that wins, because it's a keeper league, and the you have it so that the top 4 winners are like 4, 3, 2, 1 in the draft order, and we're going to randomize because we're a redraft league.
Yeah.
The consolation winner would end up getting the first overall pick. That's way too big for our league because it's a redraft league. But
Yeah.
money compensation is a great idea. I think $20 even
Yeah.
would be a good idea for.
No, I think that'd be really
consolation
fun,
winner.
and that makes it so that everyone's playing for something every week. Like even if $20 is still $20. Like I can buy some beer with that shit.
Totally.
And like the other thing I've also thought about is changing the way like the playoffs are structured, like we've talked about in previous weeks, like where like maybe someone can earn a bye week, and like guarantee that they're going to get money if they take the number 1 seed and shit like that.
point
Which we'll
is-
talk about in the off season.
The point is keeping people involved and not trying to get their dumbass face like plastered on a T-shirt. Or
Yeah,
winning
and so
$20
that's the
or
first thing we
something. So-
have,
It's
and
more
I think
fun for everyone.
I think it's just more fun if you're always playing. Like I think it should be fun from week 1 to week 16.
I agree. So let's look at this real quick. So,
So-
Justin and Jordan are playing each other.
And we have two large leads going into this second week. So the way our playoffs work is it's a 2-week playoff, which I would like to eventually discuss maybe next podcast about our playoff format. I keep bringing it up and
Yeah.
fine tuning it. But
No, and that's the thing about our league. We fine tune it every year.
we have 9 versus 10 ambulance chasers. Jordan's in deep trouble at
Down
74 and a
34
half.
points.
And he just lost
to
AJ
108.
Green.
And he lost his boy AJ. So Justin is pretty much taking it to him. And then, so we would think that Ambulance Chasers is going to be in the bottom end of the bracket with Brian Cole.
And I
because
will-
he is down at 25
Cole and the
points.
Cole Bowl would be real
Before
fun for me.
we move on, I just want to give Justin credit. So Kareem Hunt went down. He benched him. He replaced him with Derrick Henry playing the Jaguars.
Smart move. That was a really smart move.
I'm just kidding.
It worked for him.
I mean, it's a running back.
Right.
He's not losing.
He is the 10th place player. He is starting a running back that was a first round draft pick that really sucks and is game script dependent. But if he scores touchdowns, he's viable.
And
so.
that Chris Herndon starting the flex is
We got 11.5 out of him last week, and then
That
Christian
guy,
McCaffrey
that
saved
guy
his
is
ass.
actually one of the most interesting fantasy risers at tight end for
Yeah,
me.
truly is.
I watched him play all season, and I was like, "Oh yeah, this guy's garbage," but well, that was a decent catch. And then that was like halfway through the season, and now he's literally fantasy viable because he's getting 5+ targets a game.
Yeah, he's got Austin Seferian-Jenkins syndrome.
This is why fantasy tight ends suck. To remind you all,
I mean,
This
mind
is
you,
why you
mind
have
you,
to stop and think,
Teef,
hey.
Teef is beating Jordan by 34 points, and he started a flex tight end and a tight end.
so you telling me that Rocket Man drafted 3 tight ends and he's down to Chris Herndon?
And realistically,
Is that
In his
amazing
flex.
or what?
No,
oh,
he's
he's
got,
flex.
yeah.
he's got Jimmy Graham on his bench. And realistically, he also has Kareem Hunt still, so he could drop him this week.
Well, he has Stephon Diggs on
He's
his bench.
got to.
What is he doing?
Right? I don't know.
So Jordan's going to make it to the Cole Bowl because it looks like he's going to start AJ Green.
Right.
Come on, Jordan.
Well,
At least
the
make
thing
it
is,
competitive.
we have history on this podcast of messaging Jordan, telling him to do something as
He
far as
usually
his
does
roster,
it.
and he does it immediately. So,
He does have a great matchup, Big Ben against Oakland.
oh yeah,
I just think Teef's going to pull it up, though. I think Teef's going to put Stephon Diggs
he's got
in.
Frank Gore and Jalen Richard. Oh shit,
I think Teef's going to put...
it's the flex tight end.
Flex
matchup.
tight end, there we go. Ebron and McDonald.
Both of
I
them
like
starting
it.
tight ends at flex.
I could see Teef
Should I start
easily...
Joko at flex? just
You know
to
what?
fuck
If you
with
do it, I'll do it, brother.
All right, I'll start a tight end.
I don't
flex.
think I
have David
have
Njoku.
another tight end, actually.
Who do you want?
You don't want to go on that
Hold
tight
on.
end.
Let's see what our options are here.
I'm backing up Gronk with Njoku because I just don't trust Gronk at all right now.
Kyle Rudolph, baby.
Let's go.
Coming in tough. I actually like...
I'll do it.
The funny part is that legitimately like might... Oh, no.
Oh no. All right.
Interesting.
So we basically have ambulance chasers versus Brian Cole. So we have to look at Brian Cole's.
Does
team.
Cole not have a chance to come back?
He's behind by 30 points.
That doesn't necessarily mean
And he
anything.
just lost a player. He lost Greg Olson, which I'm not saying Greg Olson's a team destroyer, but
If I know anything about Brian, he will manage to the end.
I can see Jameis...
which I approve of.
I can see Jameis having a great game.
He should start. Let's see. Oh man, his wide receivers are actually really good.
Actually, really kind of like Cole's team.
Well,
Yeah,
he has people
just
like
didn't pull it off.
he has worthless people like Fitzpatrick and yeah.
I mean, if he replaces Greg Olson with Kyle Rudolph,
I still think
that's a
Chopik's got
decent
him.
starting
Man.
line.
I like Chopik's team a lot, though.
That was the thing. When we used to record these podcasts, I kept calling for Cole making the playoffs because his team's actually good.
Yeah, but honestly, Cole's team doesn't look terrible either.
I think Chopik's got him, though. He's got Kenny
Or
Galladay.
Chopik's team,
Yeah,
excuse
yeah.
me.
No, and
Yeah.
I talked up Chope, and then he let me down big time.
Chopik's got Michael Thomas, Kenny Galladay. I like that.
Saints team
I like
at
Travis
Tampa Bay.
Kelsey. Travis Kelsey's number one tight end, right? Carson Wentz, man, but I'll take him. David Johnson will probably do some shit. Jerry
Gordon.
Cohen's taking over Jordan Howard's shit.
Josh Gordon's top 15 this week.
Yeah. I mean, Chopik's got opportunity there.
This is the most competitive season that this league has probably seen in a long time.
You'd be surprised, man. If
A
you look
lot of
back at
close
lost
games.
leagues, we always have close games.
But you
and
had-
people
you-
barely
you
scooch
were
in.
saying this
No, this is
early
a
in
great
the
season.
year.
I love it. I love that we have 10 people top to bottom who all at least know something.
Yeah.
Like, because we had Trisha, and no offense to Trisha, she's not watching this, but she don't know shit. And then we had Jason. Like the first year that we had this league, we had my former business partner Jason, who literally didn't know anything about football. We used to have Zach, who basically just like
Pick backers only.
pick Packers only. We used
Basically,
to have my
Patrick
buddy
Mahomes
Dustin.
ruined this whole league because he just destroyed everybody. Like he's done every.
I mean,
league this
But if Hooven takes out Sean, oh my God, I'm gonna like jizz all over everything. Because I'm rooting for you, Hoove. You had a tough stretch here in life.
So in summation of the Cole Bowl,
We
Very
figured
like
likely.
Cole is going to be taking down Jordan.
Is that what we think?
I think so.
I
think so.
If they
Jordan-
that's very likely.
Jordan,
That's gonna
send me
happen.
your T-shirt size again. I forgot. I believe it's a male medium.
No, I think he gained some weight.
I would just go with the large and just
I let him pick his T-shirt style, so I'll let him do it again. He's a good sport. Jordan always sends a little extra money so that I can buy people beer at the draft and stuff.
Let him grow into it with his sadness.
I love Jordan. I honestly, next year, Jordan's such a good sport. I feel like I'm gonna like pay for him to come up here and join us for the draft.
You know what's funny is he may be sending you beer, being a good sport, because
Mm-hmm.
one day he's going to ask you to hide a body.
And if he does, I'll do it.
Yeah, right in,
I'll do it.
right in my butt.
I earn him, right in Pat's butt. But no, I think like we should try to. I honestly, sidebar real fast. Would people be down for a destination draft like next year?
I think people could pull it off, most of us at least. The tough part would be coordinating schedules.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, if we started like planning it like in the spring, if I start planning it early, I think that would make it easier.
Let's go to Denver.
Let's go to Denver. That makes it easier for the one person who I think would have the hardest time.
For the one person who lives in Denver.
Well,
I'm
I'll
in.
pay for Hooven to come out or something like that. Like I can like help people out, like arrange like a room or like an Airbnb where we can all
Yeah.
stay, like to make it cheaper for people.
You know I'm in.
Let's do it.
We can do a league
I can probably get good.
league-wide podcast
We
with
have
everyone in this
that'd
town.
be
Oh my
so
God,
fun.
That would be
Podcast.
fun. Our
Right.
big
And we
round
have-
table.
Exactly.
And we have such a league where like we all know each other. We would all have such a good time, you
Yeah.
know. All right. So what's
I
next
could,
on your
Make it
definitely,
happen.
I could definitely see me and Justin devolving into like
an argument?
pure antics. Yeah,
I love that,
about things
though.
that happened 6 years ago. when
All
we
right,
lived together.
Mr. Random Producer turned.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
You
Magic.
take the command and you press tab.
Wow.
Look at him knowing shit.
Yeah.
So who do we think is going to win?
This is our league. So who do we think is going to win our league? I think I'm going to win our league.
I think Hooven.
I will tell you why I think I'm going to win.
strongly
I'm polling
think
for Hooven. I haven't looked at the second week of playoffs.
I strongly think Hooven, and here's why. I think anyone who beats Sean, I think it's whoever wins that game. Because I think Sean's team is too good. I just don't...
I refute the point that Sean said that, like, in our fantasy chat, he randomly said that, like, oh, this is the real championship.
I think
like,
it is, though.
On that alone, I have to say it's either Pat or myself.
fair enough.
I'm like, I'm not liking what I'm seeing on Pat's side of the schedule. So, like, I am going to call for myself pulling the upset against Pat, even though I have a 10-point lead.
Do you really think you beat Tim or Sean?
I think Gurley is going to Gurley. And so I feel like Gurley's just going to lead me to the promised land.
Look, I think any of the four of you could win, realistically speaking.
My team has
Sean could just pull this out and just beat the shit out of Tim and then beat the shit out of both of you. I could see Pat pulling this out and then beating the shit out of Sean without James Conner.
My
I
team
could see
has
you doing the same.
fantastic matchups the rest of the year.
Exactly.
The rest of the year, and I set it up that way on purpose. And there's sometimes the shittiest team wins. It just happens. Like, you know, sometimes it's fantasy football. You just never know how it's going to go.
But I could legit. I'm gonna put my money in now. I think it's Hooven. I think it's his year. I think it's time that we have someone else who hasn't won the trophy win. I think that would be like nice. But I think if Hooven doesn't win it, I'm giving it to Pat, and it just stays in the three. It stays in the triad,
The holy
motherfuckers.
three.
The holy trinity. The Cole, Mike, and Pat were the only ones who ever win this league.
If you're not overweight, you don't win.
That's how we learned. That's how we learned. We sat on the couch and we ate a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just think Devontae Adams is just going to siphon all those targets from Aaron
I really-
Rodgers.
That could really
That's-
fuck you. I
that's
think that's
my
what it
Achilles
comes.
heel.
I think that's your matchup.
That's truly it.
It
It's
is.
my Achilles heel.
Yeah.
If Martavius Scantling Clydesdale gets a touchdown, like,
What about Equanimous?
yeah.
My favorite name in the NFL currently, Equanimous St.
All right.
Brown.
So then we want to
Good one.
talk. What's next?
NFL
Yeah.
playoff picture.
NFL playoff picture.
Okay.
Who do you guys think is going to win the Super Bowl?
So, like, in
I
the
think the
actual NFL.
Rams are the best team in the NFL.
Chiefs.
No.
Rams both sides of the ball. Chiefs defense is just too susceptible.
I think we
picked
get
the
that.
Rams before the season. My money's on the Rams.
I think the Rams don't even make it to the Super Bowl. This is why. I think they're the best team. I think that, like, the best team in the NFL almost never really, like, makes it. Like, the
Typically. That's what you get with a one-game playoff.
yeah, exactly. I think they get upset. But I think
But
it's
like
just-
the Rams
I think they overlook
this
someone.
year are very similar to the Eagles last year, except they haven't had that like injury to Jared Goff, and then everybody writes.
But even
them
still,
off.
I don't think the
they were
Eagles
the
were the-
hottest team in the NFC in that exact same situation.
If Jared Goff gets injured, his backup, Sean Mannion,
Sean Mannion, yeah.
went to Foothill.
But anyway,
Oh, I didn't
yeah,
know that.
no, they'd be totally screwed.
His dad was the AP.
I had
history
I had
I
Mr.
now know
Mannion.
that now.
Yeah, they'd be totally screwed. I'm
I
just
just-
saying they are the most top to bottom.
I've got like this feeling around the Chiefs. Like I just do. I'm not saying that I'm right.
Anytime they
But you
have
asked
take
me
that-
to guess. Because that's what we're all doing.
My argument against you would be if they have to take that defense.
There's still
on the
4
road,
weeks, you know.
That defense is so.
And
bad.
they didn't.
There's
not
still
look
4
good
weeks. A
last
video
week.
could come out of Jared Goff, like, you know, sexually assaulting a
What,
seal.
Jared Goff going to church? Like, come on.
There could be a video that comes out of him of, like,
All right,
him
let's-
sexually assaulting a goat. And
Let's
then
not
he's out
go
of the
here.
league. No, I'm just saying, like, you just don't know, like, with NFL players, what could happen. And,
Well,
like,
sure, but we have to.
everyone's trying to.
We have to base the facts on like what we do know.
give me like a dark
I'm
horse
st-
then.
All right, a dark horse? Well, let me look at what the NFL playoff
I
picture
would
is right
I would
now.
like throw out like the Texans. They've won 9 straight, and I don't think they are a Super Bowl caliber team per se. But like that's a kind of balanced team
They
that
have
has a
pl-
great record,
And they have playmakers.
and they play. Yeah, like they have
On
a
both
they have a
sides of the ball.
formula, and Lamar Miller is running well. Like their offensive line is on paper terrible, but it's getting it done
I'll give you a
because
dark
of
horse
Deshaun
team.
Watson doing what he needs
Saints.
to do.
I'll give you a dark horse
Yeah.
team.
Saints are a team I like.
Ravens.
Yeah.
I like that. I can see that.
Defense wins championships, especially if you're the fucking Baltimore
They're
Ravens.
second place in the wild card, though. They got to keep winning. They got to make it.
I don't think they're better than Like, I would say the best dark horse choice would be the Chargers because they're a wild card team.
I like
they're
the
not going to win
Chargers.
the division, but
okay,
and they got lucky to beat the Steelers.
You know, over the
They
past
got
10
so
years,
lucky.
I think it's something like, and this is me pulling it out of my ass, admittedly, but I seem to remember it's something like 6 of the last 10 years, a wild card team has won the Super Bowl.
There's a lot of research that says bye weeks are detrimental to teams.
Yeah,
In the Super Bowl.
and so that's kind of one of the reasons why I could see the Chargers, the Ravens.
I
think
could
that's
see
a
the
great way.
Chargers. I could see it coming out of the AFC because the AFC isn't too top heavy, but the Saints and the Rams are really good.
Yeah.
Really
Sure.
good.
It's going to be tough to beat them back to back.
Especially in New Orleans, in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right, let's finish off this podcast. Let's go into the last segment, which is would you let your kids play football? And this is a suggestion by
Something
Pat.
that I've talked to my wife about.
Okay.
For me, there's a sentimental factor to it.
Of course. Yeah, your
right?
dad played.
My dad played football. For those of you who don't know, my dad died when I was 9 years old, and he always told me I could play football when I was 11. So my mom held true to that promise. I played football when I was 11, and then she didn't let me play anymore after that. So I was allowed to play 1 year. A lot of people I talk to say they wish they would have played high school football. Buddies of mine are people our age, or early 30s. I wish I would have played high school football.
I feel like I'd have had a better high school experience if I played high school football, but I think that's because it makes you kind of like popular, right?
Yeah, but even just from an athletic standpoint, like I just wish I would have done it. And so to me, it's something like it's tough because there's so much evidence, right, about how terrible it is. I heard a study recently, and excuse me if I don't get all the facts correct, but the basic essence of it was that someone studied NFL players, and I guess a good indicator of basically as we get older, our language and just being able to be generally well spoken and eloquent should basically increase as your life goes on until you get pretty darn old.
Yeah.
Like well into your 60s and 70s.
And I've experienced that.
Sure, as have I.
Yeah.
Especially after I stopped smoking weed.
They sure love their Texas in football.
Exactly. Here's what happens. Football
Bringing
players,
it all home, people. If you're a
Avid watcher.
and future subscriber, you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I remember that. So
They
what-
love their
basically what
Texas and
happens.
football.
Basically, what happens is as people start to play college and professional football, it's just like that. Their speech and their the complexity of their words and the sentences they put together start to plateau and start to get worse.
Is
Or
a
almost.
study done by...
It was some doctor that interviewed thousands of different football players before and after they started playing
Yeah.
hyper
a
competitive football.
longevity study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good indicator of general brain health and things like that. And so it's undeniable.
I think it is.
It is undeniable that it is bad for you. Now, will it get better with technology, helmet technology, removing helmets, all the different things that people put out there? Who knows? But
Let's be real. Like, the sport that we love is like barbaric, and it's the reason why we love it. I mean, we go, we have some drinks, we go into the stadium, we see some crazy shit go down. I mean, like,
they're gladiators.
bodies smashing into bodies countless times, and like, it's pure athletic ability, and we really revel in today's game in the ability to evade the guys that are trying to get you. But the game is based upon, man hitting man,
I
And,
still
like,
watch that highlight of Patrick Willis crushing the face of he played wide receiver on the Niners when he was on the Cardinals previously, and he played on the Niners, the wide receiver recently. Hold on, I'll find it. But I still watch this one highlight of Patrick Willis just crushing a dude, and it's just like,
Patrick Willis, a generally kind person.
Well, he's a form tackler, too.
Yeah.
This is the thing that irritates me is the players that just launch their heads at other players Like Thursday Night Football last week, Jalen Smith had it out for Alvin Kamara, and he continually just, when he gets ready to hit him, he's just like, and I'm going to finish the play. And he's literally just launching his head, and they missed that helmet-to-helmet tackle, but there were multiple occasions.
A lot of that comes down to coaching, right? I mean, you talk to defensive players, their whole lives they've been trained to just hit the shit out of the guy.
Right.
Do whatever it takes, get him down, no matter what. And that gets ingrained in people's lives, especially when football is your profession, it's your career, it's how you feed your kids.
And the point you're making is much grandiose because it's not about like how you tackle if we're talking about playing football, because eventually if you play football long enough you're going to have recurrent
even
head
you
injuries.
have the best form in the world,
exactly,
a receiver can dip their head. It's just there's split second things, it's so hard, right? Because when you think about having kids, you start to think about situations you had as a child, right? I wish my parents did this, or I wish my teachers or coaches did this, so I'm going to do it this way. At least me, that's how I kind of look at things. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, I wish I could have played football, but I don't know if I could with all the information, I don't think I could put my child through that.
So do you, still knowing everything you know, still wish you would have played football in high school?
Yes, because I know that I wouldn't have played college football or pro football, right?
You know that it was just a high school thing.
Yeah. Couple concussions.
By the way, the hit I was talking about was Anquan Bolden.
Mm.
Patrick Willis hit him
Great
so
receiver.
hard that Anquan Bolden was on his knees, and Patrick Willis hit him, and Anquan Bolden just like froze and then just collapsed into a lump. And
Yeah,
it
mine
ended
for
up
that-
breaking his nose and his cheekbones. That's how
How
hard
is that
Patrick Willis was.
Mine is
Because Patrick Willis was a
DB
monster.
on the Eagles when he hit Reggie Bush, and Reggie Bush started crawling.
My worst was last year, or 2 years ago, Tom Savage, or whatever his name
remember
is.
that one.
He got hit. And
Who was
he
that guy in the
blacked out cold.
Lions?
Fucking looked like he was having a
Oh, that was
epileptic
brutal.
seizure.
Yeah.
He went into the tent and came back 2 plays later.
Yeah, Jesus.
It's
Well, there was that
would you like
Lions
to
running
play-
back,
but let's
Javid
kicker.
Best, who was paralyzed
Yeah.
on the field.
Javon Best got paralyzed?
Yeah, he was paralyzed. He's still
As
he's
a
still,
Lion?
Yeah, the Lions running back. That was
don't
only
know that.
5-10 years ago. Between 5 and 10 years ago.
He had some scary injury. I mean, Ryan. They
broke his neck, man.
Ryan Shazier made a tackle in the field 24 months ago or something like that, and the doctors gave him 25% chance to walk again.
Yeah.
And apparently, I just read today he was jogging again.
Jared
that's
Best is
incredible. But like,
in a
He also
literally-
wants to play football again.
which he's never going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But I mean, my point to answer your question would be my son would be able to, or daughter, play kicker if they want to.
Quarterback, maybe. Fuck it.
No way.
Pretty sure he was.
No, they could kick if they want to be a special teamer.
Yeah.
sure.
I mean, with your soccer background, I could see how that
Yeah,
could be a
because my
possibility.
only illusions.
But here's the thing.
My only illusions of grandeur for football is like, yeah, I was a really good soccer player. I could probably hit a 40-yarder any day of the week, for a college
Okay, you're right.
team
He
at a
eventually
certain
walked
point in
in.
time.
Javid Best eventually.
Here's my
But-
question. Say high school, right? Your son is a great soccer player. He wants, the varsity football coach talks to him. Hey, we think you could be a good kicker. Come out and try for us.
Sure.
Right? Goes out and makes the team hitting kicks.
And then he wants to play special teams.
And then all of a sudden, he's
running
fucking
kicks.
around and he catches a 45-yard bomb. And the coach is like, you know what? Let's try you at wide receiver. And he comes back to you, comes home and says, Dad, I'm going to play wide receiver. I'm so excited.
I would defer to my wife, who I love very much, and she would definitely say, "No, son, you're not playing football in that capacity." So, yeah, it wouldn't really be up to me.
And that's the thing. It's like that would
I
be
don't
crushing to your kid at that point, though, right? So is
That's
it
like what he's good at. Yeah.
That's what he wants to do, and those are his friends, and
I would.
no one really wants to be a kicker.
I mean,
so let's
you
be honest.
must trust the intelligence of your kids, and
That
like
starts early,
right. And unfortunately, I feel like sometimes this comes down to opportunity, and like some people have one opportunity, and like I know that my child is not going to have the gift of just being like, I am going to be the supreme athlete that's going to take my career through the NFL, and there's nothing else that is going to like take me there.
It's unlikely.
I would just want to explain the circumstances and the facts that revolve around this game that we love, and understand that it really requires a sacrifice in everyone in order to play it. a supreme sacrifice. I mean,
And this is
Would you-
basing on the assumption that in 15, 16, 17, 18 years, when we have kids ready to play football, that it's going to be even going to be a game anymore.
Which is also possible.
I mean, I think flag football, as far as a youth sport, is definitely going to get
Bigger. It already has.
I think
Huge.
flag football, I would watch that shit too. But like, I mean, I guess the thing to think about too is like, okay, if you, and so all things considered, I'm probably never going to have children. I'm dating someone who, like, health wise, it's restricted that
Hey.
we probably won't have kids.
That's what the Virgin Mary said too.
Yeah, it is true, but also that's all a fake story because I don't believe in God.
That's okay.
So you're welcome. You
also
all
true.
know, but
and we're banned from YouTube.
yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. But no, like logistically, we it's just not in our plan, you know, of life and all that stuff. But like, if I had a kid, by any miracle or adoption or whatever life circumstances led it to it, like if you have a kid who's athletic enough to play football, wouldn't they be athletic enough to play safe sports like baseball? Like fuck, man, like
Sure, soccer.
baseball, soccer, NBA, like.
It's a stretch.
I mean,
Baseball, soccer, NBA.
well, you have to be tall enough to play NBA, right? But like,
You can play
if-
college ball, though.
Yeah.
you definitely play college
No,
ball.
and
but
that's-
like like if they're like tall, like wide receiver type, like usually those types of guys are also NBA ish, like in size, because like usually they're like 6+. You know,
It's one of those things though. It's like tough because like Marie and I have talked about this. My wife, like, we want to be the type of parents that like if our kids want to try something, we're going to be there to support them.
and that's one.
But
of
this
the
You
is
have
one of
to
the things-
enlighten them to the facts, though.
Sure, and that's one of
And
the
that's
things.
the point.
It's like the same thing as
comes down
joining
to
the army,
communication.
Right.
Joining the military. Like you want your kid to do what they want to do, but are you going to just let them join the military without at least having a conversation
Sure.
with them? Same thing, right?
Yeah, and
Like,
it's, when they turn 18, it's a different story.
The tough thing for me is if I were to adopt Saquon Barkley when he was 7 years old
And
and
he's
have to
gonna
tell
be-
him, I don't think you should be an NFL or a running back, even though you are a clear, unbelievable talent at doing this. Because as a person that
Could
does
also
this,
be
and
like a doctor who saves the world.
relentlessly takes abuse day in, day out for what
See,
you
that's
do.
when it gets tough because then we're talking about financials that set up him and his children after that for life.
Right.
And that's a different thing. And I think a lot of these players in the NFL, like,
It's their
not to
only way
speak
out.
for them, it's not just their only way out, but it's they're not only providing for themselves, but they're providing for their families. And
Sure,
their
that's why I
children.
said, unfortunately, it comes down to opportunity and circumstance. I
Yeah.
mean, for a lot of people, I mean,
If you have a kid who can go to
inner-city
fucking
baseball
Yale.
and basketball is the same way.
If you have
One-
a kid who can go to Yale and become a lawyer and make like the same kinds of money, but like without bashing his fucking skull in, then yeah, you're not gonna let him.
One thing I will say, which will make this easier for us if and when we have to get this type of decision for our children, sports are no longer, kids don't play 3 sports anymore.
No, you play one.
Everything is hyper-focused all year round.
Right.
So it may be something that kind of organically filters itself out, right? You
Yeah.
know, if you have a kid who's interested in baseball and football, or football and lacrosse.
You're like,
know,
well, you
can
gotta
be
pick one.
No, you get to pick this one, but it's going to be one anyway,
Yeah.
And so, but it's an
I mean,
interesting
because like
thing.
Cap could have been a pitcher, like that
Sure.
was one thing that got talked about a lot, and like obviously Tebow plays in MLB.
Has a
Russell
chance,
Wilson was a great shortstop too.
and Garth Brooks, plays for the Padres every year in spring training.
All right, we're done.
On that
Interesting
note-
thing about Tebow apparently has a chance to make the Mets opening day roster.
I think that's
On
just a
that
sideshow, though. That's just a sideshow, right?
He had 17 home runs last year in AAA.
Your
He
host,
also batted under 200.
Yeah, but so
He's
did
garbage
Milton
player.
Bradley.
your host Tim needs to pee quite badly, and he doesn't want to talk about Tebow's 200 batting
Tim
average.
Tebow.
So on that note, we will bid you all adieu.
Thanks for joining us one more time. Maybe we'll do one more.
See you in week 16.
We're gonna try.
bitches.
Let your
We're
kids
gonna
play
try.
football.